Have you ever noticed how your eyes seem to tire more easily at night? Or how your memory feels just a little foggier than it used to? You're not alone. For many people over 50, the gradual blur of vision and the quiet slipping of recall feel like uninvited guests of aging. But what if I told you that while you sleep, your body could begin to repair both naturally, gently, and deliciously? I'm Dr. Mandell. Tonight we'll explore something beautifully simple. How 3 humble dry fruits can feed your eyes and mind even as you rest. It isn't magic, but science and tradition working hand in hand. Because inside your body, even in sleep, tiny repair crews are at work and they're hungry for the right nutrients. Let's discover what happens when you finally give them what they need. When I think of dried apricots, I picture the sun caught in a fruit, a soft orange glow holding more life than you might expect from something so small. And yet, inside these golden slices lies one of the most powerful combinations of nutrients your eyes and brain could ever ask for. Imagine your retina, that delicate layer at the back of your eye, as a camera sensor. Every night, it repairs itself, clearing away light damage from the day. But like any fine instrument, it needs fuel. That's where apricots come in. They are packed with beta carotene, which your body transforms into vitamin A, the vitamin that keeps your cornea clear and your night vision sharp. Without enough of it, even reading a restaurant menu in dim light can feel like squinting through fog. Dried apricots also contain lutein and xanthan, pigments that act like tiny shields inside your eyes, filtering harsh blue light from screens and the sun. Studies such as those published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have shown that higher intake of these carotenoids can reduce the risk of age-related macular degeneration, one of the leading causes of vision loss in older adults. But what makes apricots special goes beyond eyesight. They're rich in potassium and magnesium, minerals that steady the heartbeat and calm the nervous system. Magnesium in particular plays a quiet role in the background of your sleep, relaxing muscles, softening tension, and allowing the brain to slip into deeper stages of rest where memories are formed. When I worked with a patient named Clara, a retired teacher in her late 60s, she came to me saying she could fall asleep, but her mind wouldn't stop racing. We adjusted her evening snacks. Out went the cookies. In came 3 soaked dried apricots and a cup of chamomile tea. Within weeks, she reported something wonderful. Her sleep felt gentler, her dreams clearer, and she no longer woke up groggy. It might sound simple, but sometimes the body's most profound. Healing starts with simple nourishment. Apricots, with their natural sweetness and warmth, also carry a trace of tradition. In Central Asia, they've long been seen as food for the eyes and the heart, eaten at dusk not just for taste, but for balance. Modern science now validates what ancient wisdom already knew. Beta-carotene protects vision. Magnesium soothes the mind, and potassium supports steady blood flow to the brain, feeding clarity and calm. So tonight, if you're reaching for something before bed, skip the sugary dessert. Try 3 or 4 pieces of dried apricot. Let them remind you that healing doesn't have to be harsh or complicated. Sometimes it begins with a little golden fruit, a cup of warmth, and a body quietly rebuilding itself through the night. If dried apricots are the sun, then dried mulberries are the quiet stars, small, unassuming, but full of ancient light. These tiny golden or dark purple clusters have been treasured in Asia, in the Middle East for centuries, often called food for wisdom. When I first tasted them on a visit to a Persian village years ago, an elderly herbalist told me, these are for the eyes that wish to see clearly and the mind that wishes to stay young. At the time, it sounded poetic. Now, after years in medicine, I understand how true those words were. Dried mulberries are rich in anthocyanins, the pigments that give berries their deep colors. You can think of anthocyanins as armor for your eyes. Every day, light, pollution, and time send invisible sparks that can harm your retina. Anthocyanins absorb those sparks, protecting the fragile photoreceptor cells that translate light into vision. A study in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that mulberry extract improved retinal function and shielded eyes from oxidative stress, the same process that causes rust on metal. Only here, it's happening inside your body. But mulberries don't stop with the eyes. They nourish your brain as well, starting with one vital mineral, iron. Your brain consumes about 20% of your body's oxygen supply, and iron is what carries that oxygen. Without enough of it, you can feel foggy, tired, or forgetful. Mulberries also contain a fascinating compound called resveratrol, famously found in red grapes and wine. Resveratrol helps keep blood vessels flexible and clear, ensuring that oxygen-rich blood reaches even the tiniest capillaries in your eyes and brain. Better circulation means more energy, sharper focus, and slower aging of both sight and mind. I remember a patient, Henry, a retired engineer, who came to me worried that he was losing his edge. His eyesight wasn't as sharp during evening drives, and he often forgot names mid-con conversation. Instead of jumping straight to supplements, we talked about his habits, and I suggested a handful of dried mulberries in the evening with warm tea. Within a month, Henry noticed two things. His late night reading didn't strain his eyes as much, and he felt mentally brighter in the mornings. It wasn't a miracle. It was nutrition doing its quiet work. Mulberries are also naturally sweet, yet lower in sugar than many dried fruits, making them a wonderful alternative to processed snacks. You can enjoy them plain, mixed with nuts, or stirred into chamomile tea for a soothing bedtime drink. As you sip, think of it as feeding your inner circuitry, your brain's wiring and your eye's sensors, with compounds designed by nature itself. When I eat a few dried mulberries before bed, I like to imagine them as tiny lanterns traveling through the bloodstream, lighting the path for oxygen, protecting the delicate structures that let us see and remember the world around us. That's the quiet power of this ancient fruit. If apricots are sunlight and mulberries are starlight, then dates are twilight, grounding, nurturing, and deeply restorative. For centuries, dates have been called the fruit of life, eaten at sunset to break fast across deserts and holy lands. There's a reason cultures around the world turn to this fruit at the end of the day. It feeds both the body and the spirit in ways modern science is only beginning to measure. Dates are nature's compact multivitamin. They contain vitamin A for your eyes, lutein for filtering harmful light, zinc for tissue repair, choline for memory, and natural sugars and fiber for steady nighttime energy. When your eyes are dry or strained, it's often because the thin film protecting the cornea has lost its moisture or because tiny vessels in the retina are struggling to deliver nutrients. Zinc and vitamin A work together here like a repair team. One strengthens the outer surface while the other nourishes the inner machinery that lets you see detail and contrast. I once met a woman named Aisha in her 70 seconds, a gentle soul who had been eating 2 dates with warm milk before bed every night since her youth. When we talked about her health, she told me, "Doctor, I still thread my own needles." I smiled, but then I realized what she meant. Her near vision at 70 was still sharp enough for sewing. Her diet wasn't rich or exotic, but her habits were steady and wise. Science backs this up. Research in Nutrients Journal shows that lutein and zinc together slow retinal degeneration and preserve macular pigment, the golden shield that protects your central vision. Dates also do something remarkable for your brain. They provide gentle, sustained glucose, the brain's primary fuel, without the crash of refined sugar. While you sleep, your brain is busy sorting and filing memories, a process known as memory consolidation. That work requires energy, but it also needs calm. And here's where choline, found in dates, comes in. Choline helps your neurons communicate efficiently, like oil in the gears of a well-tuned clock. Combined with dates' anti-inflammatory compounds, it supports clearer thinking and a steadier mood upon waking. Of course, dates are dense in calories and natural sugar, so moderation is key. 1 or 2 is plenty. The goal isn't indulgence, but nourishment. I often suggest pairing them with a bit of protein, a small spoon of almond butter inside the date, or blending them into warm milk, just as traditional healers have done for centuries. The warmth soothes the stomach, the sweetness comforts the mind, and together they prepare the body for rest and repair. When you end your day with a date, you're not just satisfying a craving, you're honoring an ancient ritual of renewal. Each bite reminds your body that rest is not a pause from healing, but the very moment healing begins. Now that we've met our 3 nighttime healers, apricots for light, mulberries for circulation, and dates for strength, let's talk about how to bring them together. Think of this as a small bedtime ritual, a moment of nourishment before the night's repair begins. You don't need much. A 4-cup in total is perfect. Perhaps 2 dried apricots, a small handful of mulberries, and 1 soft date. It's a mix of color, texture, and purpose. Orange for vision, purple for protection, and amber for calm. If your digestion is sensitive, soak them in warm water for 15 minutes. The soaking softens their fibers, awakens enzymes, and makes the nutrients easier to absorb. I often recommend eating them about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Just enough time for your body to begin absorbing the minerals that will guide you into deeper sleep. For many of my patients, this simple ritual replaces their late night cookie or glass of wine. It satisfies that urge for something comforting, but offers your body something infinitely more valuable. The raw materials it needs to rebuild vision, restore brain clarity, and calm the nervous system overnight. You might even stir the soaking water into a warm herbal tea. Nothing is wasted. As you make this blend each evening, imagine it as preparing a gentle medicine, one made not in a lab, but by the earth, waiting quietly to serve your eyes, mind, and rest. Nighttime is when your body finally whispers, "Now I can heal." While you sleep, cells regenerate, tissues repair, and the brain quietly organizes memories like a librarian shelving books. The eyes, which have been exposed to screens and light all day, finally rest. Their cells sweeping away waste and absorbing nutrients more efficiently. That's why